Welcome to our masterclass on 0 to 6 week postpartum recovery after birth. We are so excited that you're here and to bring you this information to help you heal in that 0 to 6 week period after giving birth when generally we're really not given any instructions from our providers. So that's exactly why Caitlin and I are here to just help guide you throughout this time. So, we're meeting for the first time. My name is Megan. I am a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer. I'm pre and postnatal performance training specialist through Pronatal Fitness. I'm in the process of getting my postnatal fitness specialist certification through JMG Fitness Consulting. I am the founder here at Vibrant Mama Wellness. I am also a mother. I have a toddler and I'm currently pregnant with my second baby. I'm in my second trimester. And I am really passionate about helping pregnant and postpartum moms feel vibrant in their transition to motherhood, feeling strong, confident, and using fitness as a tool to do that.
And my name is Caitlin Cipriano. I am a certified nutritionist. I have my master's in nutrition and human performance. I also have a background in athletic medicine and am the founder of Wholesome Huntress Nutrition. I am a mom to a toddler as well, and I'm also currently pregnant in my second trimester. So Meg and I are very close in our due dates. I like Megan, I'm really, really passionate about helping moms from preconception through postpartum and helping them to find sustainability in that process so that they can boost their energy and really nourish their bodies so they can flourish in what is the chaos of motherhood.
So here's our little disclaimer. Everything presented in this masterclass today is just for educational purposes only. Please be sure to check with your doctor if anything feels off or you have specific questions about yourself personally.
And you're probably here today because you have given birth in the last 6 weeks, or maybe you're at the end of your pregnancy and you're looking for some guidance as you go into this new transition of motherhood. You feel overwhelmed and you want to feel like yourself again, or at least the new version of yourself. You want to really find some time to prioritize yourself, but you're struggling with that capacity and find that maybe you're just grabbing things quickly here and there, but you're not truly feeling satisfied with nutrition. Maybe you're feeling really weak after giving birth, or insides are falling out, not comfortable, but you really want to get back to things, but maybe you're a little nervous about how to do so safely, and you want to do it so that you are really confident in your new body. So this masterclass is going to really leave you with some wonderful takeaways about what happens to your core and pelvic floor during pregnancy so that you have the understanding to move forward and help your body postpartum. We're going to really talk about how your breath and posture play a huge role in the healing process, how you can use hydration to help with supporting your body, nutrient stores that get depleted during pregnancy, and how you can replenish them in this postpartum period, as well as a really integral part is how you can support yourself emotionally. A lot of women deal with baby blues or PPA or PPDs postpartum, so we want to bring some awareness there so that you don't feel alone during this huge transition of your life.
Okay, so let's jump right into what has happened to your core and pelvic floor during pregnancy. You hear a lot of talk about core and pelvic floor when it comes to postpartum, but what exactly has happened to it during your pregnancy and why is it such a major focus of postpartum healing? So many people are aware of abdominal separation or diastasis recti, and this is very common during pregnancy. It happens in almost 100% of pregnancies. So don't be alarmed if this has happened to you. We want those abdominal muscles to separate as the baby in the uterus is growing, because if they did not, we would have different problems. So this is a good thing that this happens. And for a lot of people, This gap here will begin to close in that 6-week period. If it does not close on its own, this is when you are considered to have diastasis recti. But because of the fact that this is happening, these abdominal muscles are separating, it is weakening your abdominal wall. So this is something that we do really need to pay attention to in the postpartum period. And in addition to that abdominal wall being weakened, your pelvic floor is also weakened. So your pelvic floor and your core is connected. And with both of those things weakened, it is disrupting the function of your core canister. So when we talk about the core canister, this is basically your diaphragm, which you can see up here, that abdominal wall and connective tissue, and then your pelvic floor here. So when we breathe, it is the core canister all working in tandem to maintain the pressure in your core, basically. So this is why breathing, specifically 360-degree breathing, is a huge factor when it comes to postpartum healing. Now, a lot of us tend to breathe in our upper chest cavity, especially if you're sitting here right now watching this. Just pay attention to your breath and how you're breathing. Most likely, you're breathing up here in your chest and taking shallow breaths. So, what we want to do postpartum is start to reconnect to that deep breathing, getting this diaphragm, abdominal wall, and pelvic floor working together again, because we need this function in order to heal the core and pelvic floor. So basically, when we're thinking about 360 breathing, what does that look like? So the best cue that I can give you is to take your hands and put them on your rib cage, right around where your bra strap is. And basically, as you inhale, you want to feel that rib cage expand in all directions. You want to feel it move forward, to the sides, and to the back. So you want to be bringing air down into that lower rib cage and into your belly on the inhale breath. And then on the exhale breath, you're just going to feel that rib cage close in. So it sounds really simple, and it is simple, but for a lot of people, this can be very tough postpartum just because of all that disruption that has happened during pregnancy. Also, when you think about the fact that you had, an 8, 9, maybe even a 10-pound baby in your uterus, plus all, the placenta and the extra fluid and all this stuff that takes up a lot of space in your abdominal cavity. And after giving birth and all of that leaving your abdominal cavity, it's spent 9 months getting used to adapting to all that space being taken up, and now suddenly it's just gone. So your muscles and your diaphragm, your everything is like, wait, what a minute, wait, like, what is happening? We just got used to all this stuff in here and now it's all gone. So it is kind of a shock to the system. So relearning how to breathe like this is really important, and it does take a lot of practice. I recommend that people do this daily, and you can start doing this literally the day that you give birth. It is very safe and gentle. And practice makes perfect, of course, with it. So the more you can do it, the better. The next thing we're going to talk about is your alignment and your posture. So a lot of people will think about their alignment and posture when it comes to working out and making sure they're having good form, but you really want to be paying attention to how you're carrying your body in your everyday movement, especially in this 0 to 6 week period, because you are at a time where your body is weaker, it is deconditioned. So if your posture, and everything is all out of whack, you're more likely to injure yourself doing everyday activities like picking up the laundry, picking up your baby, picking up the car seat. So we really want to be mindful of how your body is taking up space, basically. So some things to remember is we want to have your ears over your shoulders, over your pelvis, over your ankles. Now, you're not going to be doing this 24/7, obviously. We are realistic. We know that, our bodies are constantly moving. But some things to pay attention to, especially right now, is when you are holding your baby, try to notice if you are holding them consistently on one side or the other. A lot of us do tend to do this. I know for me, I tend to hold my son on my right side always. And so that shifts my posture a little bit. And when you're repeatedly doing the same, movement pattern over and over, it's going to shift things, and that's going to become your new normal. So instead, when you're holding your baby, I want you to think about switching sides often, because that's going to help that overall alignment and not allow you to get stuck in a dysfunctional movement pattern. When you are, picking up something off the floor, thinking about keeping your spine as neutral as possible, like this, is helpful. Then you won't hurt your back. That's a really common thing that's happening for people in this period is back injuries. So just thinking about that neutral alignment of your spine can be really helpful. And another thing to think about is when we are paying attention to our alignment, that is also going to help the core and pelvic floor, like we were just talking about. Everything is connected. So by practicing this 360 breathing and paying attention to your alignment in your everyday life, 24 hours of the day, you are setting yourself up for really great core and pelvic floor healing, so that by the time you do get to that 6-week period and you are cleared to exercise, if that's something that you're wanting to do, you've already set up a really great foundation for yourself. So just as a recap, what should you be focusing on right now in this 0 to 6 week period? So I want you to be practicing that 360-degree breathing. Like I said, you can start that on day 1. Practice it daily when you get into bed at night. If you're just sitting and feeding your baby, just bringing that awareness to your breath, thinking about getting that nice deep breath, allowing that rib cage to expand. You can at this point in time start doing some gentle stretching and mobility. I do caution you not to overstretch because you do still have that relaxin in your body from pregnancy, so you can be a little hypermobile. So you do just want to be mindful of that and don't push it too much. But gentle stretching is great, especially because a lot of us do get in like this hunched over position postpartum. So trying to open things up in the chest or stretching with your pelvic floor can be really beneficial. Walks are great. Especially if you can get outside and walk, that's amazing. So you're getting that fresh air and sunshine. Don't push it. Short walks are great to do right now. Paying attention to your alignment when sitting and standing. We do spend a lot of time sitting in this 0 to 6 week period. So also thinking about how you're sitting, ways that you can support yourself, putting some pillows behind your back, ways to just try to maintain that neutral alignment. Like I mentioned, alternating what side you're holding your baby on or which side you're carrying the car seat. And of course, if you notice any increased vaginal bleeding with any sort of activity, this is your sign that you might be pushing it a little too much, and just pull it back a little bit. And then above all, I do want you to rest as much as possible. Your body did just go through a lot with pregnancy and birth, and we do want to be resting to really allow your body time to heal.
Awesome. So now we are going to move into the nutrition aspect of this. And the 3 keys that we're going to talk about today are around hydration, which is both important for recovery, again, after giving birth, as well as you move into healing and potentially lactation goals. This is really key. We wanted to really focus on replenishing our minerals and vitamins. Your body, again, just went through a lot for for 9 months, and you are taking nutrients from your body to pass through your placenta to your baby so that they could be as healthy as possible. So now we really need to focus on replenishing mom. And we also want to talk about just some easily digestible meals as we enter this 0 to 6 week period while we're recovering. So let's talk about the hydration needs first. Whether or not you are breastfeeding, you need to focus on hydration. Typically, around this time frame, very similar to pregnancy, we want to be getting about 100 to 125 ounces. You are going to notice that there are a lot of shifts in your hormones during this period, that there's going to be adjustments to digestion, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. And for most people, this can be pretty simple because they generally are going to notice that they're thirstier, but we want to try to stay on top of it so we're not getting to a point of dehydration where it can impact your mood, your energy, or your lactation status. So, trying to get into a good routine, leaving water bottles in like high traffic areas for yourself is really helpful. And especially if you have an area where you're like nursing or pumping frequently, leaving a insulated water bottle there can be fantastic. But start your day off first thing with a good amount of water. Obviously, you're getting up during the night nursing or pumping in these first 0 to 6 weeks if you are lactating. Um, so we want to make sure that we are staying on top of this through the evening, but hopefully you are getting some rest too. So you still might be starting the day off in a slightly dehydrated state. Um, During this period, we also want to be mindful of our caffeine consumption. Again, really similar recommendations during pregnancy, since this is something that can be translated through our breast milk. And we want to minimize our alcohol consumption to really optimize the care for you and your baby. Okay, this is the huge the huge one. Again, during pregnancies, we're delivering all of these nutrients to the baby, and depending on how your pregnancy was, it may have been difficult to eat a lot of nutrient-dense foods if you were dealing with a lot of nausea, exhaustion, maybe you just had, like, a particularly challenging experience, and while obviously we want to try to eat as best as we can during pregnancy, I'm also very realistic that is not always the case, that there's a lot of challenges that come up. So this is really that time frame to say, okay, these nutrient stores were depleted, a lot got pulled from our body. We really want to replenish these. I'm not going to go into too much depth about everything, but I did want to give an example of utilizing iron since this is a common one that can get low during pregnancy or potentially in the postpartum period. Maybe you had a lot of blood loss during labor or dealt with hemorrhaging. So we want to get that iron back into our stores because it does make a big difference in our energy levels, particularly. So when we think about this, people always think like red meat. I don't eat eat red meat. There, if you do, fantastic. But if not, there's a lot of other wonderful high quality sources with iron. Dark leafy greens are awesome. Lentils, beans, tofu. The skin on your potatoes has a lot of iron in it. And then cooking with cast iron pans. I always recommend this one, especially if as your kiddos get older and they start eating, cooking in cast iron pans, helps them to get their iron stores built up as well. So if you don't have one, definitely recommend it. And those are some things with that iron example that you can do to start replenishing. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about digestion because constipation is really common both at the end of pregnancy in that third trimester as well as early on in the postpartum period. Again, like Megan said, all of your like organs really shifted around, digestion slows down, and so it's this like transition period of your body getting back to its new normal of things. And so again, there's some really simple things that we can do to optimize and focus on these easily digestible foods so that you're not uncomfortable in addition to all of these other shifts that are going on. So, we want to incorporate things like oatmeal, stewed fruits. These are going to be high in fiber and they're going to help soften your stool so that it's a lot easier to pass. So, you're not also straining while your pelvic floor is weakened. Like, we want to heal all of these things up. The two are very much connected. If our pelvic floor is already in that weakened state. So, we want to try to make things as easy as possible. Um, Bone broth is also fantastic for helping to support gut healing. You're going to get some hydration there too. Um, I know that this is a hard time to cook for yourself, and especially if you don't have a well-rounded support system. Cooking for yourself can be really difficult, but we wanna try to minimize those really highly processed foods that can tend to constipate us. So, as challenging as it can be, try to reduce the amount of takeout that you're getting, and really, if you can, if you're watching this during pregnancy, try to do some preparation so that you have some of these simple, easily digestible meals already on hand for yourself.
Okay, so we do have some tips for navigating the baby blues. So, this can be a really stressful time, this 0 to 6 week postpartum period, as you are adjusting to life with a new baby. Even if this is not your first baby, it's a huge adjustment period. And with those hormone shifts, like Caitlin was talking about, it can bring on some baby blues. So we just gathered some tips to kind of help support you during this period, emotionally and mentally. So the first one is movement. So movement can help regulate and calm your nervous system. So kind of those things that we were talking about before, the 360 breathing, great for regulating your nervous system. Getting out for walks, things that are going to kind of move that energy through your body is going to really help boost your mood, and just help you feel a little bit better.
The other thing is to, like I said, focus on nutrition so that you are balancing your hormones as best you can. During this 0 to 6 week period, your body is experiencing likely the biggest hormonal shift that it has experienced yet. Obviously, if you've previously had a baby, you've been through this before, but it's really significant drop off. And if we can utilize nutrition to support this, we can help with inflammation and gut health, and both of those things impact our mood. And so, by using nutrition to help regulate that, you can potentially have a much better experience instead of maybe jumping back and forth between your emotions since this is a sensitive state anyways.
The next one is having a support system. So, whether it is your spouse or you have family or friends nearby, not only people that can help you out during this period, like helping with meals or cleaning your house or taking the baby so you can, get a couple hours of sleep, but also just having people that you can talk to, let them know how you're feeling and what you're going through. If you don't have people within your family or friends that are close by, having virtual friends or virtual mom friends can be really helpful. There is an app called Peanut, which I love, which also helps connect you with moms in your area. Also, if you're really struggling, reaching out and finding a therapist. Or, if you are spiritual, if you go to church, looking to people within your church group. So just trying to find people that you can lean on, both for that in-person physical support, but also the mental support can make a really big difference.
Absolutely. And I know we talked about with walking, just like getting outside and letting the sunshine hit your face. It definitely can depend where you live and what season that you're giving birth in. But being able to be grounded by nature is really helpful again for resetting our circadian rhythm and calming our central nervous system.
Yep. And then the next one is taking time to shower and get dressed. So this is a big thing that moms tend to neglect just because we are so focused on taking care of the baby. But getting a daily shower in, you'd be surprised at how much that just makes you feel alive and like yourself again. As well as getting dressed, even if that is just putting on a fresh pair of sweatpants and a new sweatshirt. Just that ritual of, cleansing yourself and putting on fresh clothes can really make you feel like a brand new human in this time period. And it just gives you a little sense of normalcy when things can feel very overwhelming.
Absolutely, and same thing with this next one, like, making your bed and trying to keep some of your, like, personal spaces just, like, clean and tidy so that even if, like, the rest of the house is a mess, like, your sleeping space is somewhere you feel safe and comfortable coming into while you're getting some rest can make a big, big difference.
And then the last one we have on here is journaling. So this again can help support your nervous system. Also, if you are having a lot of feelings of overwhelm, just a lot of times getting those out of your brain and onto paper can kind of just help not only just relieve that like stress in your brain and that overwhelm, but sometimes even just getting them down on paper just kind of helps you be like, okay, like these are just thoughts, like it's okay. Um, and just having a ritual of journaling can just be really therapeutic in a way as well. And we should have thrown in here like meditation too. If you have a
Yeah.
couple minutes to just sit, meditate, be with your breath and connecting to your body, that can help as well. Oops. Okay, so if you need support with learning how to rebuild your core and overall strength, doing and finding workouts that are not only effective, but are actually designed to heal your body after pregnancy and birth. 'Cause like we talked about, there's so much that has happened in your body, and we do really want to focus on that healing and supporting this new body of yours. But you also need workouts that are short and are going to fit into your busy day because you're a new mom and you've got a lot going on. If you need support ditching the diet, learning how to really nourish and care for your body in a sustainable way, but also helps fill those nutrition gaps after birth to support your hormones, just give you energy and feel better. Everything that Caitlin was talking about before. And just feeling strong and confident in your changing postpartum body. Something that Caitlin and I like to talk about a lot is like, we're not trying to go back to your pre baby body. Like, this body has gone through pregnancy and birth. You have given life, you've sustained life, your body is brand new. So, how can we find ways to help you feel strong and confident in this body? So, if you're looking for support with these things, then this is for you.
Megan and I hope that you are going to walk away with this feeling of a strength that you didn't know was possible. We hear all the time from people that after working with us that they feel stronger in their core than they did pre-baby. We want you to feel like that too. Have any decreased back pain, a better pelvic floor functioning, any of those like aches and pains that come along, as well as getting your booty back. No more like pancake butt. This is a thing, and we want you to feel like you can be confident here too. Understand what supplements to incorporate so that you can support some of these things around inflammation, energy balance, and hormones. And also feel confident while you are in the kitchen in a simple and quick way that helps you to feel satisfied as well as reach your current goals. We want you to have more energy and above all else, that confidence in yourself so that you can really feel like you again. Again, this new version of you, not necessarily your pre-baby version, because a lot has changed, and to not really feel like you're just constantly going through the steps and in this fog. And
So,
so that is why we made this 12-week postpartum program for you, mama.